Hey, this is Albarran. In this video, I want to cover how I started my business with $1,000 to my name and an old beat up car and turn that into a business that in the last 6 months has done a little over $3 million in revenue. In the next 12 months, we should do well over 8 figures in total revenue. And I believe there's three key principles that help me achieve that growth that I want to share with you in this video. And the first key principle is that I went all in. I was willing to do whatever it took to be successful. A lot of people look at someone like me or other people online and they think it's somewhat overnight, the success, but there's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of pain and struggle that it took for me to become where I'm successful, where I'm at today, and for other people online to do the same. And as an example, going back to myself at 19 years old, starting this business, I had $1,000 to my name. I had an old beat up car. It was a Mazda Speed 6 stick shift. And so I said, let me sell that car because that's going to fund my business more so. I can use that money for advertising, for software, for my website, and to give myself more time to grow the business. Because if you're starting a business, you have a certain amount of money in the bank where you say, hey, once this gets near zero, if I don't have any traction by that point, I need to get a job, right? That's just the reality. But that extra $5,000 that I got from selling that car, it bought me time. So I can figure things out. I didn't have to rush. And this is going to go into key principle number 3, but I didn't have to rush and find clients quickly that weren't a good fit. I was able to take my time more so, invest in marketing, invest in my business and my brand that now is reaping results 6 or 7 years later. But again, a lot of people, they look at someone like me and they think, okay, let me do the same thing with no sacrifice, no pain, no struggle, and I'm going to do it overnight. They don't do it overnight and they feel like, oh, entrepreneurship isn't for me, or I got the wrong coach, or this or that. And they just don't give it enough time. And they don't understand the reality behind what it takes to actually build this type of business. Again, a lot of people would have said, I don't want to sell my car. I need to go downtown to parties. I need to go on road trips, or I needed to do this and that. But I understood at that point, if I want to achieve the success that I have now and that I feel like I'm going to have in the future, I needed to sacrifice. And so if you're looking to lose weight, you sacrifice. You go to the gym more, you don't go out, you don't drink. If you want to improve your spirituality, you go to church more, you invest in, Bible studies. That's an investment of time. And that's not really a sacrifice. But again, if you instead of, going to the bar or going out, you go to Bible study, it's a sacrifice, but long term, it's going to benefit you and your family. So again, if you want to achieve some type of success, some type of growth online, you have to sacrifice, whether it's your time, your money, or your comfort in the short term for a long-term benefit. And I believe key principle number 2 is the most important, as a lot of people in 2020, they fell in love with the stock market. Everybody was the next Warren Buffett. You could buy any stock, any option, anything and feel like, oh, it went up 100% in a month. Let me just keep doing this and print money. But I think people fell in love with the idea that you can just invest money in the market with no experience, no technical skills, and make a lot of money. Have you ever met someone, though, that did the whole dollar cost average thing and actually became a millionaire in a reasonable time? And I say that because a lot of people think, I'm going to not increase my income. I'm going to just invest in the stock market. And when I'm 70 years old, I'm going to become a millionaire. But like I'm saying, have you ever met someone who actually did that, who actually lived enough to then enjoy the money, and they're not too old to where they can't ski anymore, they can't golf, they can't, dance? That's kind of where I call it spreadsheet living. People do things just because it looks good on a spreadsheet. They say, hey, let's save $200 a week and let's not get the nice car, or let's not get the nice house, or let's not experience that vacation with the kids so I can invest more into our 401k so that when we're 70, then we can be wealthy. Then we can be comfortable. That's just not the way I want to live. That's not the way you want to live. And I feel like people, when they focus so much on the stock market, they take success out of their own hands and essentially say, hey, my income isn't going up. I'm not starting a successful business. I'm not starting a YouTube channel. So let me just put success in the hands of Wall Street into somebody else. And obviously, they're focused on them being successful. They're not trying to make you money. Nobody's trying to help you besides a coach or a mentor that honestly wants to invest in you and give you time, give you resources to grow. But if you're talking about Wall Street and the stock market, it doesn't care about you. It's not trying to make you successful. You need to invest in yourself. Because again, if you invest so much in the stock market with your time and your research and your money, you're focusing on 7% here, 5% there, 10% there, when you should be focusing on how can I 10x, right? How can I 20x my income, which is possible. I'm living proof of that. If I invested $1,000 back then, 6, 7 years ago, today would be worth maybe even 2,000, maybe. So instead of turning $1,000 into $2,000, I turned $1,000 into a 7-figure business, multiple 7-figure business that can continue, for the rest of my life. So think of the difference in that. Again, when you invest in the stock market, you're essentially saying, hey, with this money earning 7-8%, that's more successful than anything I would do with that money, which is maybe starting a business or growing your existing business. And so I'd be careful about investing so much of your essentially success and putting it into the hands of someone else and saying, hey, you know more than I do. I don't trust myself. I'm not confident in myself. That's why invest in something like Toastmasters. I mean, I did Toastmasters for public speaking. I used to be terrified of public speaking, but instead of investing that money in the stock market, I invested in myself and said, hey, if I can become a better communicator, I can become a better entrepreneur. I can get better employees. I can get better customers. I can influence people, and in a good way. That's what communication is. You use it to influence people and use that to persuade, whatever you want to call it. But influence is a good thing. It's a good thing if you have good intentions. But if you have good intentions but no way to influence people, they're not going to get behind you, your business, or your product. So you have to be able to invest in yourself, in your communication skills, getting books, seminars, coaching. Invest in yourself, increase your income, maximize that. Then once you're making millions, then say, how do I diversify into the stock market? Don't think the stock market's going to make you rich. That's a fallacy. That's not true. And so you have to think of, if Wall Street is selling you something, be very, very, very cautious. I'm not selling you Wall Street or anything. I'm selling you on the fact that if you invest in yourself, your communication, your public speaking ability, your knowledge, your skills, your strategies to maximize your income, then at that point, you're going to have so much income left over in savings, then you should invest some of that into the stock market. But a lot of people, they make, 50K, 100K, and they save $100 a week or $150 a week. They scrape by for their entire adult life to then maybe have this, euphoria when they're 65, 70 years old, and they have very little time to actually enjoy the fruits of their labor. So long story short, with key number 2, I didn't focus on the stock market. I didn't say, let me save a little bit and let me focus on 7-10%. I said, how can I essentially 50x my income, 100x my income, 10x my income. And then once I'm doing that, now I can say, let me put some money in the stock market. Let me diversify and do that. So that's key number 2. Number 3, be relational, not transactional. And I didn't make up that quote. Somebody might have made it up. I forget. So if I'm not quoting them, apologies. But a lot of people, you've been to a networking event or a conference where there's that one guy, that one lady that's just passing out business cards like it's free money. They're just trying to give a business card to everybody that they see. And it's like a quota. They feel like they're building relationships by just hitting numbers and saying, I gave out 1,000 business cards or I gave out 100 business cards, when they'd be better off saying, I invested my time and my resources building relationships with one person at that conference. When you build relationships, that's where success comes from. You don't build success on your own. I don't care how smart you are, how well-versed you are, how great you are. You need people. You need relationships to achieve your goals. But a lot of people, if they want success now, going back to key number 1, people want that overnight success. It's like going to a bar and asking someone, hey, do you want to get married? It's like, I don't even know you. I've never dated you. I've never met your parents. Like, why would I immediately skip from first contact to getting married? That's what you're really asking people for. If you say, hey, refer me clients or do this and that for me, it's like, I don't even know you, man. Like, what are you talking about? Let's take our time. Let's build a relationship. And then at that point, once you prove you're trustworthy, you can deliver, you actually say you're going to do something and you do it, then people are willing to go to bat for you and say, hey, like, you need to talk to Alex, or you need to talk to this person because they can deliver. I've known them, I have a relationship with them, so I'm willing to put my name on them. But if you're transactional, if you want things now, then nobody's really going to respect you, because it's like, why do you want all of this from me and I just met you 5 seconds ago? I have relationships with people that have 1.4 million subs. I mean, 9-figure businesses, billionaires, because I take my time and I don't meet people trying to say, what can I get out of you right now? I say, how can we help each other? How can I help you first? Show value, show trustworthiness. And then at that point, they want to help me. They want to help me grow my business, get more contacts, get more clients, get more relationships, because they see what I'm doing is good, that I deliver, that I under promise, over deliver on what I say I'm going to do. So again, in your business, if you're starting out or if you're trying to grow, think of the people in your life, the people in your business that you might have been transactional with, and try to say, instead of hitting numbers and trying to go mass volume, how can I focus on building the right relationships with the right people who can drive massive growth to my business? To going back to point number 2, that can help me 10x, not grow my business by 5% or 10%. All it takes is one. Anything in life is probably a phone call or 2 away, but you just need to have the right relationships. And then that can lead you to the success that you want. So again, a recap of the 3 different points. Number 1, expect sacrifice, right? Be willing to go all in. If you say, I want to build a multi-7-figure business, you have to understand that most people don't do that. So you have to do things that most people won't do. Just like if you want a 6-pack, you have to eat like how a lot of people don't want to eat. You have to work out more than they work out. If you want to do something extraordinary, you have to do extraordinary things to get it. You have to take extraordinary action. So don't expect to achieve success overnight. It's like this instant ramen, like now society. Expect sacrifice. And if you really want to achieve something, go all in. Whether you fail or not, it's not a failure because you did everything you could to make it happen. Even if I sold my car, I invested all my money and it didn't work out, I could look back and say, hey, at that point, I was a young kid, 19 years old. I did everything I could to make that business work. It didn't work out. That's fine. Luckily, in my case, it did, which again, there's luck involved, but at least I went all in knowing that if it works out or not, I did everything in my power to make this successful with my time and my resources and even my mindset that this is all or nothing. It has to work. Point number 2 was, don't invest your success in other people or other institutions. Invest your success in yourself, meaning if you want to be successful, don't rely on other people to then do it for you. It doesn't work like that. You need to invest in yourself, invest in your growth by improving your communication, improving public speaking, improving your marketing skills, sales skills, increasing your income. And then at that point, you could say, hey, let me get an advisor on my taxes, on my stocks, on my finances, on my portfolio, on my, business accounts. But if you try to diversify before you have any money, you're always going to grow slowly. You need to focus on 10x rather than 10%. And then point number 3 is focused on be relational, build real relationships. That takes time, right? Again, you don't ask somebody to marry them on the first date. Maybe after a year, 6 months of dating, then you say, hey, I've met your parents. We've spent a lot of time together. We've built a relationship. Now let's take it to the next level. Don't be transactional. People can smell it a mile away because it comes off as desperate, and nobody wants to do business with anybody that's desperate. So again, this is just sharing my experience from, again, starting my business. If you look on my Instagram, you'll see pictures of when I was starting out and I was riding my bike and I was doing that whole kind of hustle and grind, startup entrepreneur thing. And that was 6-7 years ago. And I mean, now I do the whole private jet thing and nice car and nice lifestyle, but I waited for that to happen. I was willing to invest back then into myself, my skills, and that's how I was able to grow my income to then live the lifestyle that I have now, and then I can continue in the future. So hopefully this helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below and subscribe if you like the video. So yeah, thank you for watching and have a good night.